Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, June 6, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know that has been liking your ear recently. Also feel free to ask any other related question that you might have about your specific era. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at the US Climate Prediction Center's Tropics Hazard Outlook for the next 3 weeks. We can see that around June 14th to the 20th, we don't have much of anything occurring across majority of the Caribbean. It's the week after that that we see something happening. Take a look at around June the 21st to the 27th of June. We can see some slightly above average rainfall rates across sections of the Caribbean, including sections of Jamaica. So even after all of this rainfall that we're about to receive in the first week of June, we're in for some more rainfall during that looks like the third week of June. So let us get ready for that, and we're indeed grateful considering that we're in some kind of a hydrological drought that's causing the National Water Commission to put some restrictions in place. So we'll take all the rain that we can get to put some kind of dent in that hydrological drought. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that the main development region is being affected by that ridge of high pressure right there, and it is bringing lots of warm temperatures to sections of the northeastern Caribbean at this time. We can also see the numerous troughs that still dot the northern section of the North Atlantic to the north of that high pressure ridge. And we can also see the numerous tropical waves that stretch all the way from Africa all the way over into the northern sections of South America. Taking a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with a trough that's affecting portions of the Western Caribbean. So we can see a lot of fast moving trade winds coming in from the southeast and piling right there into that trough. So the trough is acting like a wall of convergence. So there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and all of that air is piling up, hitting that wall right there across sections of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. And this is going to be persisting all the way into this weekend. We can also see those low-level patches of clouds stretching from Africa all the way into portions of the Caribbean. And all of those low-level patches of clouds are moving in that easterly trade wind brought about by that high-pressure ridge. We can also see the many clouds associated with the numerous tropical waves that stretch all the way from Africa all the way across the main development region. And those are mainly attached to the intertropical convergence zone, and they're all slamming themselves into northern South America at this time. We'll be talking more about the weather across the Caribbean later on. Let's focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for Tuesday today. Alright, so it was stated that we would have received some morning rainfall across sections of eastern Jamaica, and then we would receive some rainfall across sections of northern and western Jamaica in the afternoon. And what ended up happening? A post was made on our Twitter page at 9:35 a.m. highlighting some clouds bringing some overcast skies, showers and thunderstorms. We know the sparkling white dots represent the lightning flashes or lightning strikes, and we saw that we indeed had some of that across sections of some eastern parishes, even sections of some far southern parishes. Gotten on some of that, maybe far southern Clarendon might have gotten on some of that as well. Then another post was made at 2:05 p.m. highlighting a lot of clouds bringing overcast skies, showers and thunderstorms to sections of northern and western Jamaica. So the very areas that we predicted in yesterday's video, that's exactly what happened, despite what the Euro was showing. If you guys remember, the Euro model was pretty robust in showing majority of the rainfall on the south coast, but with the low level flow and what the GFS was saying, it made more sense to believe what the GFS was saying, with majority of the rainfall being across northern Jamaica. And we did indeed had confirmation of a lot of flash flooding taking place across sections of St. James as well. Lots of clips showing up all over the internet. And we even had confirmation from our commenters on our Twitter page, confirming the rainfall across sections of northern and western Jamaica. Nardia stating St. James South raining not too heavily with occasional thunder. Laura Lee Shong stating heavy rain in western Hanover. Angie stating western St. Mary raining now, not heavy though. Nikisha stating freak storm in Mobay. Then when we switch over to our Instagram page, we still had the commenters. We had MI33 example confirming the rainfall in St. Thomas. She said, "Me say little rainfall at St. Thomas and the heat get worse." So that indeed confirmed the rainfall that we had in eastern Jamaica. Gar stating it's been pouring in Mobay since noon. Sapphire Willie stating heavy showers in Mobay right now. Nikki 2 stating Ochi a washway. Skipping over to another Instagram post. TG Minidal stating it's been raining in Mobay hours now and it shows no sign of easing up. Staff Abigail stating raining in St. Mary. Next, that girl too thick, Mo baby washing. Shanique rain in the grill. Do we have any more comments? And somebody posted a gif. Lots of rain taking place, especially on the north and west side of the island. Tweety stating rain in Mobay a couple hours now non-stop. And then Loyal stating Mobay a washway. So that indeed confirmed the rainfall across section of the island for today, just as what we predicted. And if we take a look at the latest satellite images, let me even reload the pages that we have the very latest images to show. Alright, so we do indeed see that rainfall that we had across northern Jamaica, but now look at what is happening. We see majority of this mass of clouds and rainfall now affecting sections of western Jamaica. So we do indeed see sections of Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, and even Manchester getting in on some heavy rainfall at this time. And if we actually take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down up to now, even though we won't see what's happening up to now, we can indeed see that east-southeasterly low-level flow. Then when those clouds became thunderclouds or cumulonimbus clouds, we had majority of the upper-level winds blowing all of that off towards the east. So that indeed confirmed what we were predicting for yesterday. Taking a look at the close-up, we can indeed see what we just saw on the outer satellite image view, with lots of lightning strikes and lightning flashes right there across sections of western Jamaica at this time recording hour. Right now it's about 7:35 p.m. on Tuesday evening, so we're definitely getting some heavy weather across western Jamaica. And majority of this weather, the heaviest of this weather, is pushing eastward. Even although the low level flow is coming in from the east southeast, the heaviest weather is still pushing eastward, especially with the upper level clouds being pushed off towards the east. Taking a look at the Doppler radar images, let's reload these images to get the very latest. We can still see that we have a lot of rainfall. We know the greens represent moderate rainfall and the yellow represents some strong rainfall as well. And we do indeed see that heavy rainfall across sections of Hanover, Westmoreland, sections of southern St. Elizabeth, sections of southern Manchester as well. We can also see some rainfall right there off to the east of St. Thomas and Portland. Maybe they might get in on some rainfall later on tonight as well. Taking a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology's accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours, we do indeed see where we had that rainfall across sections of eastern Jamaica in the morning, and then in the afternoon we had that rainfall across especially northern and western parishes in Jamaica. And although this map from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology is not 100% accurate, it does indeed paint a picture of what actually took place in terms of where the rain fell. Taking a look at temperatures for tonight, we can see that, especially considering that Mobay got a lot of rainfall today, their temperatures are down to 25 degrees Celsius, Kingston 26 degrees Celsius at this time. And if we actually take a look at the temperature forecast, much of what we've been receiving all week is what we're expected to receive again. Up to 1 or 2 degrees Celsius above average temperatures is what both the Euro and the GFS are forecasting. For 1 p.m. on Wednesday, we know that 18Z when calculated, that's 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And we know that the average temperatures for the month of June is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the equivalent of 33 degrees Celsius. So if we should be getting some above average temperatures tomorrow, we should be getting anywhere from 33 to 35 degrees Celsius at most. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can still see that we have a lot of dry air stretching all the way from the Eastern Caribbean all the way back into Africa. And what we're not seeing right now is the abundance of Saharan dust that has made its way into the Jamaica area. It is not that robust. By the time it got into the Jamaica area, most of it is dissipating, but it is still here. So if there are persons here right now with some amount of respiratory illnesses or asthmatic conditions being triggered off and they're wondering why, just know that the Saharan dust is very much here. So we're not really seeing it because the plume of dust is not that strong, so we won't see the very hazy skies and we won't see the very hazy hillsides. But the Saharan dust is very much here, even although we're going to be getting in on a lot of rainfall for the next couple of days. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are showing more darker shades of blues surrounding the island that represent up to 1 or even 1.5 meter wave heights, and we see that on both the Euro and the GFS models. And we know that when we see both of them showing the same thing, that means that it's definitely going to be happening. Taking a look at the wind forecast for tomorrow, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS have the wind coming in from the southeast across the island for tomorrow, and that means that any rainfall that we should be getting should be coming in from the southeast. Any clouds coming off of the sea going straight inland, so southern and eastern parishes should be getting in on that rainfall first, and then wherever it exits, that's where we usually have that afternoon convection. So wherever we have the blue shades that represent the least amount of wind, that's where we usually have that buildup of clouds, afternoon convection, where all of those cumulus clouds become cumulonimbus clouds, and then the upper level wind shear, which is still coming out of the southwest, is going to be blowing all of that off towards the direction that the winds are blowing. So considering that the upper level winds are still moving towards the northeast, coming from the southwest, majority of those high cold cloud tops will be blown off towards the northeast, making more of the rainfall across northern Jamaica linger a bit more. Alright, so let us take a look at the precipitation forecast for tomorrow. You can see that as early as tonight, and it's already started in western Jamaica, we see a lot of blues that represent rainfall on the Euro model across the island and surrounding the island, and we see much of the same on the GFS model. So we're definitely in for a wet night tonight across sections of the island. Some moderate to heavy rainfall, if not light rainfall. And this is 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 9 p.m. Jamaica time across most parishes in Jamaica. And we see that right now at 7:40 p.m. we have a lot of rainfall still taking place on lashing sections of western and southern Jamaica at this time. So it's safe to say that the models are actually, coming through thus far. Taking a look at about 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 5 a.m. Jamaica time, we can see a lot of blues, some more blues across eastern and southern Jamaica that represent rainfall. And we know that when we see consensus on both maps, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. And skipping ahead to about 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 8 a.m., we see much of the same, especially across southern and eastern parishes in Jamaica. Even although Euro is a bit more robust on this run than the GFS, it makes sense considering that the clouds will be coming in from the southeast for tomorrow. Skipping ahead now to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 11 a.m. Jamaica time, we see the Euro very much robust with a lot more greens and even yellows in there that indicate some strong rainfall. The GFS, less robust. We still have that rainfall, but it's not that drastic like what the Euro is showing. But we're definitely in for some rainfall. And with all of this rainfall over such a long period, we know that some amount of flash flooding could be taking place. Finally, the final map, which shows 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. We see much of the same. The Euro, as usual, a bit more robust than the GFS. GFS showing less rain, but still more rain in the forecast. Taking a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast for tomorrow, this map is showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. And we see the Euro is a bit more robust, showing even up to 2 inches of rainfall or more across sections of western Jamaica. Look at St. James, look at Hanover, look at Trelawney getting in on those darker shades of red. GFS is a bit more robust, showing 1.5 1.44 inches across eastern Jamaica. So they're more robust across eastern Jamaica than what the Euro is showing, and far less robust with western Jamaica. So we'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, both maps are showing rainfall from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday, and this is a lot of rainfalls taking all at once, so some amount of isolated flash flooding is definitely possible. So ensure that you bring your umbrella with you if you must go out tomorrow. Ensure that you turn around and don't drown if you come upon flooded roadways. And we're indeed grateful that we're getting all of this rainfall in the month of June, considering that we're in our secondary rainy season, and right now Jamaica is undergoing a hydrological drought that's causing the National Water Commission to be, imposing some amount of water restrictions across the island. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get to put a dent in this drought. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see some clouds coming into sections of Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, sections of Trinidad and Tobago, sections of Suriname, French Guiana and Guyana, as well as Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua and Honduras as well. And we can also see a lot of clouds right there that came across sections of the Cayman Islands, Cuba as usual, the Bahamas, as well as the Turks and Caicos got in on some amount of rainfall as well. Taking a look at the northeastern Caribbean Doppler radar images for today. So we didn't have much in the forecast across those areas for today, and as such the radar images don't show much of anything right now. So they're indeed getting on some very warm temperatures, especially with that high pressure heat dome across that spot. That explains the lack of rainfall across that area. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, we indeed had some amount of rainfall across sections of Barbados today, and they might even get in on some more rainfall tomorrow. We can see some of that rainfall heading into sections of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, and if we even take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see all of that rainfall right there off to the west of Jamaica associated with that trough. You can also see some rainfall across sections of the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, sections of Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua. We can also see a lot of rainfall right there across sections of Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname and French Guiana as well. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, much of the same thing. Lots of above normal temperatures stretching all the way from the main development region into the eastern Caribbean, into the central Caribbean, into the western Caribbean, even the southern Caribbean getting in on some of that as well. So Trinidad and Tobago, the ABC Islands, majority of the northern countries in South America, and we see the below average temperatures across sections of the Gulf of Mexico, so anywhere from Texas eastward. So majority of the southern US, Florida, as well as the waters of the Gulf of Mexico, that's where all of the below average temperatures are located. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast, we can see that majority of the Saharan dust for 2 p.m. on Wednesday will be across sections of the main development region stretching into the eastern and central and western Caribbean. So we know that majority of the Saharan dust is represented by the brown shadings, but we do indeed have a lot across the eastern half of the Caribbean, even although it is a bit less across the area that Jamaica is located at this time. Either way, it doesn't take much to trigger off some people's respiratory illnesses, asthma, sinusitis, whatever the case may be. So try to take necessary precautions. Ensure that you have your allergy medication ready just in case your symptoms are triggered. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that we have much of the same thing that we've been experiencing all week, with anywhere from 0 to 0.5 of a meter across sections of the western Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico, while the central to the eastern Caribbean is where we see the 1 meter wave heights or more. And that's due to the fact that the winds will still be coming in from the east or the east southeast or the southeast across the Caribbean, averaging anywhere from 10 to 20 knots. We can also see some yellows right there to the north of the ABC Islands, to the north of northwestern Venezuela right there. That indicate 25 to 30 knot winds as well, and that's the most that the winds will get. We can also see that high pressure heat dome right there off to the northeast of the Leeward Islands. Usually these high pressure heat domes are situated across section of Bermuda or the Azores Islands, so it's actually shocking to see that so many troughs are dominating the northern section of the North Atlantic and pushing that high pressure heat dome so far south into portions of the Caribbean. Alright, so let us take a look at the precipitation forecast. So, both maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. And look at that, we can clearly see the high pressure heat dome right there with all of the rainfall swirling around it in that easterly flow of wind, even southerly and northerly. It all makes sense. So the high pressure is right here and it's causing all of this moisture to be surging all the way around it with that southeasterly or clockwise flow around that high pressure ridge. So we can see that we have up to 1 inch of rainfall to receive across sections of Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Cuba, section of the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos. We'll be getting some more rainfall across sections of Hispaniola, but it won't be as much as what they've been getting for the past couple of days, with all of that flooding across sections of Haiti in the past week, killing up to 40 people or more. Not to mention that earthquake that happened across Haiti this morning, 4.9 magnitude, that killed up to 4 people and a house collapsed. So they're definitely indeed getting in on some tragic things happening across that island. And we even have a lot more rainfall to receive across sections of northern South America, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana as usual, sections of Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Belize, and the Yucatan Peninsula should be getting in on some of that. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS are in consensus that those very spots will be getting in on some amount of rainfall for tomorrow, even areas to the north of Trinidad, including Tobago, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as Barbados and St. Lucia. So anywhere north of St. Lucia won't be getting in on much rainfall as indicated by those grays and white shades. Not much taking place, not even across Puerto Rico anymore, especially considering the high pressure across those areas, causing all of that warm temperature and dry conditions. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.